the BOOODANCHORME. Yeah, to his WORDBAPTIZED. And his GRACEANCHORME. Yeah, to the LMMB. Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back again to another episode of Baptized&Clueless. I'm your host Yusuf with my co-host Wesley. Wesley, how are you doing today, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, Yusuf.
I always love to hear that. It always starts me off good. So Wesley, we have our special guest today, a brother from one of our many groups that we're involved with. This is brother Michael. Michael, that we know is like one of the most humblest guys that we know. Michael, let everyone know who you are, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
I appreciate it. My name's Michael. I've existed for about 25, almost 26 years now. And while existing, I've decided to follow Jesus.
Awesome, man. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. Let me just say you're doing a better job than when I started out, so kudos to you. But at the same time, that may not be saying much. So that's pretty off kilter. But as far as you can think back, Michael, I mean, you've given your life to the Lord. I see you doing the walk, and I see you opening up more to what God has in store for you just by being able to be vulnerable, which is amazing. What was it like before you knew about Jesus, or at least about thinking about walking this life with Him?
So that's actually the most difficult part.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of born into Christianity. I've known about Jesus since I was born. Like,
Wow,
yeah.
nice.
in the hospital, I was prophesied it over in the hospital maybe
Wow.
5 minutes after I was born. I can't believe I never told y'all that. But
No, you didn't.
so I've been around Christianity for my entire life. It's just that I never really actually tried to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
Who prophesied over you? Was it a family member or a family friend?
I'm actually not sure. I could ask one of my parents later, but I'm
Yeah.
not 100%.
That's amazing. They wouldn't even let 5 minutes of the world get on you before.
Yeah, I was like, can I experience what's going on here first? It's like, first thing is he's gonna be this and that. Whoa,
Oh,
I don't know what
wow.
that is. Wait.
That is awesome, though. Pressure, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like, can I get a year at least? Like,
They know what daycare is like. They're like, nah. He needs to be anointed from now.
man.
So you've been prophesied from birth, pretty much.
Yeah.
But you know, though, you can imagine what was being said about you before you came to this world. So, are you the first? Are you the only child? Are you?
I am the first of four, and I'm the only boy.
Oh, see,
Oh, wow.
prophesized. Yeah. I'm sorry. So you earned that one. You earned that. Okay,
Man.
so you're the prodigal son. You didn't leave her to come back, but I'm just saying. So here you are born into this. So was it a matter of your family was Christian followers? Was your father a bishop or anything like that, or your mother into church? Like,
So my parents, before I was born, they did kids ministry at Church on the Move. What they did is that they drove a bus around the neighborhoods and picked up whatever kids they got permission from the parents to take them to the youth service. Actually, before that, my dad was the worship leader at Church on the Move. This was before I was born, so we're talking 1995, 96, because I was born in 99.
Okay.
So we're talking late 1990s, early 2000s. My parents driving that bus were always interacting with elementary school, middle school kids and telling them about Jesus and taking them to church and stuff like that. So when I was born, immediately pushed into church, specifically Church on the Move, and being around kids my age and being in Christian groups. Now, these were like actual devout Jesus followers, not just the we follow the rules type of thing.
right.
But because I was too young, I didn't really understand that. It was just like, hey, there's this guy named Jesus and he died so that you don't go to hell. And I was like, sign me up. I'm here for it. I don't want to go there anyway. I'm here. So
It's too hot.
yeah, I was like, I'm not dealing with no, I'm cool. Heaven for free. I didn't do anything.
Right.
Bet I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
It was very early on that I knew about Jesus because I was kind of born into it, taught into it, and all of my family, a majority of my family, also believes and they also follow Jesus. So
Mm.
I was literally surrounded, friends and family,
Mm-hmm.
always about Jesus.
That's awesome.
But the issue kind of came in when I started to serve, very, very young,
How old?
5 or 6.
Oh, that's super young.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I saw my parents doing it. I was like, oh, I want to do that. That looks
Right.
fun. You know,
Right.
I had the influence, and nobody said no. Especially my dad being the worship leader
Yeah.
at Church on the Move at the time. It was like, yeah, your son can do whatever. Just don't overwork him because he's a kid or something like that. You know. So I did very minimal stuff. But from around 5 or 6, I was an usher, which doesn't mean much as a kid. You pass around an offering bucket and then you're done.
Hey,
Um,
you did something in the church. I didn't do jack in the church for a long
I didn't do
time.
nothing either.
I wish I didn't do nothing because it's part of what made me like walk away from
Yeah.
church for a while
Okay.
because I was always serving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it felt like work because after I was done ushering, I was on the worship team. And I was about, if I could guesstimate, 7, 8, 9.
Everything's starting super young with you.
Yeah. So it's like as soon as I came out the womb, it's time. You're gonna know about Jesus. So
Right.
my faith never had anything to do with belief if he's real or not. I've always believed he's real. You absolutely cannot tell me otherwise. But it was always just this thing of like, I just believe that he's real because mom and dad said so, and I go to church all the time.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So serving on the worship team, I also ended up singing on 2 albums for kids' church. I can't sing anymore, so don't ask me to.
Oh, I was gonna be. I'm like,
I can't.
You was gonna do that.
I'm like,
I can't do it.
what else is this man hiding from us?
No, when I hit puberty and my high voice went low, all those notes gone. Tone deaf.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Sometimes I pray, I'm like, God, if I could just hit one more note.
Oh
Just
man.
one last time. I could drop an album and we could be done. I'll never sing again, but please, just one more note. And I just can't do it.
Puberty is batting like 800 at least because puberty barely loses. Like everyone's voice got ruined.
It like never loses. It doesn't make any sense.
That's funny. So you're in young ministry. You're starting off much older, much younger than most people I've known, except for one person, Darian. But
Oh yeah.
How young are these?
Darian's got you beat by a year. He started at 4.
Got baptized at 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got baptized at about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Oh,
First
okay.
time.
Yeah. Okay.
Me, I was eating my cheesies. I wasn't worried. Hell, okay, well.
Yeah.
I was sleeping. I was sleeping in church.
Sleeping in church.
Man.
So you obviously, with all this early pressure that came on board in your life, unwarranted, of course. When did you start having questions about continuing? Because you said you served for quite some time. So when did that start coming up, the questions as far as like you're doing too much or you feel the pressures of this? When did that hit you?
When I was around 15 or 16, when we started to go to TC.
Oh.
So when TC started, a little bit before TC started, when it was still Greenwood Christian Center, my parents got hired on the staff to be over the children's ministry. At the time, there was not a lot of people who were wanting to volunteer in the children's ministry, and there were not a lot of classes for every range of age. So for basically the entire span of the old 2019 building, or whatever the address is, I already forgot. I don't remember. the
wrong
old,
church.
the old building. My parents were the children's pastors over there. They were over all of children's ministry.
Yeah.
So when they started to kind of lead in that, my dad and I ran the elementary room. So specifically 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Every single Sunday, it was just me and my dad. And, you know, with Mike Todd's popularity going up, so did the amount of people.
Right.
And coincidentally, all these people had kids in third, fourth, and fifth grade
Oh,
for some
man.
reason. So we're in a room, you know, 30, 40 kids, just me and my dad. Now, eventually this changed very quickly, thankfully.
Yeah.
But it was just me and my dad. So it went from serving as an usher and on the worship team at Church on the Move, going into TC, going straight into working in the elementary room. And this had a bunch of different things to it. So,
Mhm.
you know how we'll have the live streams at a church and you'll see verses pop up on the bottom of the screen, stuff like that,
Right.
or videos play. I had to do that for my dad because sometimes he would teach and sometimes we had video lessons that we would watch. So I would run the computer in the back and then I would have to walk around and just make sure kids weren't talking or fighting each other or whatever.
Right.
And at the time, the only youth experience at TC was So Fly, but because of my school schedule, I couldn't really go.
Oh, you couldn't attend.
Not really. This is also why Sent Youth right now at TC is such a big deal because this has not existed, at least as far as I know,
Okay.
like ever. So it's a really big deal that we have something for middle schoolers and high schoolers right now, and it's amazing. I'm really excited for it.
Nice.
But having to work every single Sunday made me not like church, actually. There was a spell where I was like, I had nothing against God, nothing against Jesus. I was just like, I don't want to go to church because I don't want to go to work. I got school Monday to Friday. I have my actual job. I worked at a restaurant that I had to work on Saturdays, which was pretty close to open to close. And then, and that was my fault, by the way. I got to say, side note, I did not try in high school at all. I didn't try, so I had to go to night school. So the only day I could work at that restaurant was on Saturdays. So I worked all day. That was my fault, though. But, so I'm working, so I'm doing school Monday to Friday. Saturday, I've got my job. Sunday, I've got to go to church. And, you know, the church being how it is, where sometimes sermons can go, we're getting there at 6, 7 in the morning. We're leaving at 5, 6 p.m. Now I got to go home and settle down because I got to go to school the next morning. It became very, very draining very, very quickly.
Yeah, burnout.
Big time burnout.
Exactly.
Jeez. Okay, so burnout happens to everyone at some point. I can definitely understand that because you, without making fun of it, it's like child labor. You started way too early.
Yeah.
You had a social security number for church before most of the work.
Yeah.
So you went through that. I mean, this is 2015, 2016 was the start of that.
Right.
Have you stayed out of working in ministry as far as like volunteering and so forth since then?
Yes. When we moved to the Spirit Beck Event Center where we are right now, I volunteered up until COVID in the same position. We had a lot more people now, but I was the team lead. So I was the one assigning people to do things. I was the one telling the sermons.
Okay.
But I wasn't being fed. I was just feeding.
You're just feeding.
Yeah, and especially with it being children's church, you don't really dive into the depths of the stories you're telling in the Bible. You tell the very surface level.
Yeah.
We tell you that Jonah got eaten by the whale, but we don't tell you really why or anything before that. And not that it's not important, it's just that kids can't comprehend it at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're not going to go that into detail. So it was like and other times there would just be a guide that I just had to read. So I was like, what do I need to study this for? I know how to read. I'm good. Like, honestly, like I liked everybody that I worked with and I liked all the kids. But because I was also a kid, I was like, I don't want to be a teacher. I just want to hang out with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit and the building shut down and I couldn't go. And then I turned 18 somewhere before that, actually. I don't remember what year everything just happened. I'm completely lost now.
Yeah.
But when we reopened back up from COVID, I didn't go back to church at all for a while. Like I didn't go back actually until August of last year.
What was the state of mind like for you when you realized you're not going back? Was it like a relief? Was it like you're surprised and wondering when you're gonna go back, or what was it?
It was a relief because I thought that if I went back, I would have to go and serve again. And the other part of it was if I sit in service, I'm not going to learn anything. One of my things was because I haven't lived as much life as other people, sometimes the things that they talk about in there,
Go over your head.
they go over my head, or
Hmm.
I can't comprehend how to apply it to whatever I'm dealing with, which
Yeah.
usually is not much. And so I'm just like, there's nothing for me here
Hmm.
at all, except for the people that I really like at this church, But
Right.
actually getting fed, I was like, there's nothing here, so I'm just not going to go. And I just sat at
Mhm.
home and did nothing.
And you've been going to church for so long, and you weren't getting fed all those years, so you couldn't see the relevance to it at this stage in your life.
Exactly.
Hey,
Mhm.
I kind of feel sorry for you in the fact that here you are in the house and you're not eating. Here you are at the kitchen, you're not being fed. Here you are helping to serve other people eat as well, and your bowl is empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt I know exactly how you feel, man, because I felt like that with my parents' church as well. Like
Mm.
Mm.
just not being fed there and having to church hop.
Yeah, I probably
Yeah.
should have tried that, honestly. I didn't even think the church hop. I was just like, I'm just not going to go.
Yeah.
Burnout's a
Not gonna
serious
go.
thing though, because once you start feeling like that's the source of your burnout, when it really was over participating in certain things, you never got to sit in the seats as a member and just take in. And
Mhm.
you missed out on the opportunity to be with your age group as well. So you kind of fell behind in where you could have gotten more out of it for yourself.
Yeah.
And now that you're out of the church because of COVID, and now like COVID opportunity is now over, and you're like, yeah, well, it still looks dangerous outside. I don't think I'll go.
Right.
It's understandable. It's definitely understandable. So you said you stopped going since for that time, and only recently in October you started going. So what made you come back in October? Is this
It was
October
it was
2024 or
August
2023?
August 2024.
August 24. Okay, there you go.
Um, it was a really strange occurrence.
Hmm.
So I had the weirdest dream. I was at my job. First, actually, let me start off by saying I felt like my life had no fulfillment at all.
Hmm.
Because I didn't finish college and I still don't really have like a super dream job of like, this is what I want my career to be.
Hmm.
I was just going to work and then playing the video games and watching TV and going to sleep. And it felt like my life was on a loop. It,
Hamster
it
wheel.
was it was eerie. It felt like I was waking up at the exact same time to the second, going to sleep at the exact same time to the second.
Wow.
The workload was exactly the same every day. And it was like when I went to bed, it was like I saw an image in my head of a calendar, and every day that I wasted, it was like a skull or an X. It's like, you're not getting
Ooh.
that day back. I hope you know you
Wow.
just wasted
Ooh.
that day. That's never coming back. You didn't do
Wow.
anything meaningful. And I was just
Hmm.
like, what's going on? I don't understand why my life feels so unfulfilling.
Hmm.
Because I just got into all the gaming stuff that I was doing heavy. Because I don't do it as heavy anymore, but I run video game tournaments, and I was finding
Right.
my fulfillment in that. Watching everybody play the game, video games, talking about it. It was all video game this, video game that. I'd wake up, watch people play video games. I'd Anytime I could look at my phone, I'm looking at a video game or talking about a video game. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
my fulfillment was all in that. And I just started to get burnt out in that. I'll go to sleep one night and I have a really weird dream where I'm at my job, I'm doing some work, and I see these creatures come out of the sky that were the clouds, and they're like some of the ugliest looking supposed
Wow.
to be angels that I've ever seen. I was like, those are some of the ugliest things I've ever seen
Hmm.
in my
Hmm.
life. Y'all are hideous. And they weren't like
Yo, idiot.
they weren't like biblically accurate angels either. They were just ugly. And I was like, what's going on?
Right.
Do I need to get a haircut? Like, is this a sign? Because those guys are
That's fine.
ugly. And so then this this platform falls from the sky to the ground. It's like a silver platform, and there's a golden door on there, and it's like the door to heaven. And I was like, I'm saved. I'm leaving. I'll see y'all later.
Right.
I
Peace
walk
out.
up to the door, and there's a flashing no sign on it saying that I can't go in.
Oh wow.
And I
No.
wake up, and I was like, I looked at my phone. I'm like, what show did I just watch to make me have this dream? Because that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Blame it on the show. What show?
Yeah,
Twilight Zone.
yeah. I was like, I must have watched an anime or
Oh
something because
man.
there's no reason I should be even thinking like this. And then I
Yeah.
sat and I thought about it, and I was like, well, to be fair, I only know Jesus because of my parents, and I only know him through
hmm
the
hmm
relationship I have with my parents, not
Right.
really knowing him for myself.
Right.
And then that's when I decided I wanted to know him for myself. And that was
Yeah.
a very, very frustrating first couple of months, let me tell you.
Yeah, I can
Mm,
imagine.
mm,
I can imagine. You had a lot to unpack based on what you've gone through
yeah.
already with church, and now you're finally getting to know him for yourself. So it's like you're starting all over again.
Mm,
Exactly.
mm.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Like when you talked about like you only knew God because of your parents, like that was me too. That was me too. And it wasn't until like I graduated from high school realizing that okay, I'm about to hit adulthood now and I'm like I don't know God like I thought I did. And so
Right.
yeah, I
hmm
was I was definitely I definitely felt that for real when you said that.
But that's the
Yeah,
thing, though. We
that
all have
was
to get
me.
to know him, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So you're facing the challenge of starting all over again. But now at least you know you're doing it for yourself. So that's no longer a question of why. You
Hmm.
know it's because it's something you feel to. So I'm sure as an adult now, this walk, did you start noticing things about yourself? You start noticing about how different things are now walking with Christ as opposed to before?
Yeah, mainly in my my attitude and
hmm
just my care toward things. Because there was a lot of times where I was just like, I don't care about anything. And when I say that, I mean like I don't care about my physical health. If I'm
hmm
just gonna sit around and get fat, I would DoorDash like every day, every
Oh
other
man.
day. Well, bro, if I wanted to eat it, I was gonna eat it. I promise
Dang.
you that. There was when it came to food, there was negative discipline. If I
No
Yeah.
wanted to eat it, I
discrimination.
was going to eat it. um, I didn't really care about my attitude towards people because I wasn't like rude, but I wasn't really like friendly either. I would just be like, "Hey, how you doing?" and then just like run away. You know what I mean?
hmm
Mm.
hmm
And it's an optimistic mindset, and that's actually still being worked on to a more optimistic mindset. When I
Mm.
started to take trying to follow Jesus seriously, I made the mistake of going to watch sermons and Christian content more than I read my Bible.
Right.
And that will drive you insane
hmm
because
Mm.
the algorithm will just put anything that has the hashtag Christian on there
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
hashtag Christianity. And you're listening to all this stuff and you're getting bits and pieces of the word instead of full context. And then you're getting people who don't really know what they're talking about, or you're getting people who are talking about something that you're not dealing with at the moment. And it becomes a lot real fast.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
That was like super overwhelming because it was like you're not supposed to do this. It became like
Yeah.
the list of do's and don'ts in the Bible that
Yep.
turned
Yep.
people away from the religion altogether.
hmm
And that was my thing. And I was like, I don't even know if I want to. That's how I really got to where I am now. I had to tell God straight up. I was like, man, I'm going to be honest. The only reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to go to hell. I don't actually know you.
Mm.
I don't
Right.
know that I really love you. I
Yeah.
just see that
Yeah.
all of
hmm
these videos and these sermons and this and that is saying that I'm not supposed to be living the way that I am. And if I don't change, I'm going to go to hell. And I'm like, cool. I don't want to go to hell. What do I do?
Right.
And
Right.
so as I've been walking with him, it was frustrating in the beginning because it wasn't like one of these testimonial videos that you see where somebody has a supernatural experience with God or with Jesus, or like I
hmm
saw an angel or I saw Jesus in the reflection of something. That wasn't what happened for me.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just read the word, find a way to get it explained to you, either through the Holy Spirit or God would have me find a sermon or something.
Right.
And it was been a very slow burn of bits and pieces of his character and his nature being revealed to me. And the beginning of it was very frustrating because I was like, why would you do this? Why would you do that? I don't understand this. I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bunch of whys.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I learned about him and the more I've started to learn to trust him, and I'm still walking through it, honestly,
Yeah.
the more positive my mindset became because
Right.
I was like, okay, I understand how big you are way better than I did before. I understand your sovereignty. I understand what you can do. I understand what you will do. I understand, this, and that.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of me having this negative outlook on life of like, and I tell you guys this sometimes too. I'm like, I didn't finish college. I don't have a dream job. I'm still living at home with my parents. I'm not doing anything. Life is the worst. And blah blah blah.
Right.
And it's really
Yeah.
not all that. But the closer I got with God, He was like, "Do you not see that I'm doing something here?"
Yeah.
And I knew this was gonna happen anyway, so you can relax. And I was like, "Oh, my bad. I'm sorry."
What's amazing though, Michael, that you're having this conversation with him. This is you getting to know him.
Yeah.
Right.
You're hearing his voice. You're responding to him. You're talking to him. You're seeing what he's showing you. That's the difference before than what you had before. So that's beautiful to see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So with your faith growing in him, meaning that you learn how to trust and lean on him more so than yourself. And fortunately, you haven't let any church past, as people call it now, church hurt, get in the way, which is good to see. Um, when did you decide that? How did you come to decide that now is a good time to make the plunge? I would say to Jesus.
Oh, um, you talk about when I got baptized, right?
Yeah. What led up to it?
I So to be honest with you, I did not understand the being public about your faith part. I
Hmm.
understood the washing away the old and in with the new part. And
Right.
I looked at baptism as in, oh, the reason why I'm still having all these problems is because I haven't got baptized. If I get baptized, they'll magically go away.
Right.
That was my original,
Magically.
that was my genuine original thought. Because I got baptized when I was 5 or 6 at Church on the Move and I didn't understand
It's
it.
not the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
so that was my main thing is I was trying to get over these negative thoughts and things in my mind and
Right.
just any other sin. And I was like, well, if I just wash it off, clean slate will be a lot better than it was before. And it has been.
Hmm.
But my mindset did not at all think about the being public about my faith at
Right.
even a little bit. I was just like, I just want a clean slate, wash me off.
Yeah. This thing, and here's the thing: it's different. People get baptized at church. It's different to get baptized at church versus being baptized at church that's being televised.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
everyone shows up at that time, so there's a lot more people than your regular church would show up,
Mm.
and it's being televised. I saw your faces like, is that no? Is that
I know. It wasn't
Michael?
until someone said it in the chat that I was like, "Oh, really?"
Now, when you told us, and you told us briefly about being baptized, you said it led up to encouraging others, because you weren't the only one that went that day, was it?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm in a tribe. Shout out tribes.
Shout
Um,
out.
Shout out.
so we're in a tribe meeting. We go to this place called the Gathering Place. If you're in Tulsa, you know what that is. If you don't, it's like a really big. I would call it an outdoor park,
Hmm.
basically. And there's
Yeah,
an
we
indoor
heard Pastor
building.
Mike talk about that.
Yes.
It's such a nice building. If y'all come down here to Tulsa, you gotta go. It's so
Okay.
nice. It's so nice. It's
That's not the
nothing super
historic one, is it?
grand. No.
Okay.
This one was built in 2017, 2018.
Okay.
I should remember. We did all the glass for it at my job, but I don't remember. I
Mm-hmm.
sure don't remember. I should, but I don't. But we're having a meeting there, just our weekly tribe meeting, and I said, "Hey, I think I'm gonna go get baptized this upcoming Sunday." And this guy sitting across from me he goes, "That's what's up. I think I would like to get baptized too. I've been thinking about it, but I just don't
Mm.
know." And I was like, "Come on, we can go together."
Wow.
So he goes and he signs up. So me and him are we're there that Sunday. They have us sit in the South Ballroom, and
Hmm.
then, like the video plays, we're walking in line into the sanctuary. I walk past 2 other members of my tribe, and I wave at them. We get baptized. Service happens, and then Pastor Mike does the call where he's like, if you still feel led to get baptized, the
Right.
pools are still open.
Hmm.
So they have altar workers in the back. They say a prayer over you, and then you can get in line and you can go get baptized. The only catch is we don't have a change of clothes for you because you didn't sign up early, so you're gonna go
Right.
home wet.
Yeah.
we got a towel for you, and that's it. And let me tell you, that water was ice
Eyes
cold.
cold.
Woo,
Wow.
I got in there shivering. I got to tell you real quick. I stood in there shivering, and my parents are the ones who baptized me because my parents are on
Oh,
staff.
that's nice,
Wow.
man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
nice.
He didn't tell us that. You be holding out.
I'm sorry. But yeah, so if you watch the video and you see me, those two people standing there, those my mother and father. Those are my parents.
Okay.
And so I'm standing there, freezing. I'm shivering like crazy. And my dad goes, "You're not low enough. I need you to kneel down." What? This water's already cold. You gotta kneel down. You gotta go all the way down. I was like, all right. So in the video, I don't know if it shows me, but I'm shivering the whole way down like this, and then I'm
No,
getting down
man.
like, oh, it's too cold.
Oh.
And then I get dunked and get back up, and we're good. But um, after the end of that, we normally all just meet up as a tribe and just talk and hang out and do whatever.
Yeah.
There's a couple
Right.
people there. There's two members there that are like, I'm sorry, there's one member. And he was like, I saw y'all get baptized. I've been thinking about it. I kind of want to do it. I was like, man, come on and do it. So he goes to the back. He starts to get prayed over. Somebody else from the group sees him getting prayed. And he asked me, he's like, what is he about to do? I was like, he's about to get baptized. And he goes, well, I guess I'm getting baptized too. He walks over, he prays.
It's a ripple effect.
Yeah, it
Big
was
time.
literally a ripple effect. And then another guy from the tribe comes up. And he was like, man, I got baptized when I was a kid, but I don't know. I kind of want to do it again. And I was like, I want to
Wow.
do it for real. And so he ended up talking with his wife, and his wife encouraged him to do it. And then he saw all of us there, and that just gave him even more courage to do it. It's like,
Yeah.
my tribe's doing it. My wife is encouraging me. I might as well go.
That's amazing,
That
We
man.
go
is
over, he gets
super.
prayed over. We're standing in line. So it's me standing on the side, and then those three who are in line to get baptized.
Mhm.
Another member of my tribe, he comes over just to say what's up. He's just saying, hi, how you doing? I'm about to leave. I pointed him and I'm go, hey, you want to get baptized? And he was like, kinda, I guess. I mean, I've been thinking about it. I kind of just put him on the spot.
Yeah, yeah.
My dad walks by. Hey, Dad, can you pray him in so he can get baptized? He didn't even get a chance to respond.
Wow.
Grabs his shoulder, prays him in, and he jumps in line. I'm like, give me your Bible so it doesn't get dunked. Get in there.
Wow.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
then all four of them line up. They go all the way down to the very last pool where Mike Todd is, and all four of them get baptized. Then we go eat dinner. It was amazing.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
From
Oh
from
man,
one man, God used you, and look at that. Look at that.
look at that.
You're inviting people to get baptized, and you're offering a second plate of food. You want some? Your plate looks empty.
Yeah.
But it speaks to them. It speaks to their heart as well. Like they heard the opportunity, and none of them said no.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. That's incredible. So
Amazing to hear.
yeah, exactly. So you did you did tell us that you had a happy ending on top of all that regarding someone inviting you guys out.
Oh, yes. Maybe 3 weeks before that Sunday, it might have been
Hmm.
two, when we were still in the distraction series.
Yeah.
There was a segment in Pastor Mike's sermon where he gave a woman $300 and said, just make sure you ask the Holy Spirit what you're supposed to do with this.
Hmm.
Well, a couple Sundays before Baptism Sunday, we had a brother and sister tribe collab meetup at the gathering place
Okay.
because the idea was, it was her idea to have more brother and sisters in Christ have strong relationships
I agree with that.
because of how culture views opposite sex relationships now.
Yes.
Everything is
Yes.
about trying to get together with people.
Everything's
It's just like
sexualized. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it doesn't always have to be like that.
Hmm.
We can just have genuine, strong relationships with people.
Exactly.
So she finds out we all get baptized. We're at one of the people who got baptized. The guy who signed up with me and was there early.
Yeah.
He
The
had a
first guy.
basketball game. Yeah.
Okay.
So me and her are at his basketball game. And she goes, wait, I'm going to use this money that Pastor Mike gave me to buy us all dinner. And so we hit up the group chat and we go to Cheesecake Factory, and we're all just eating and having a good time. And I gotta say, I don't know what these women were talking about Cheesecake Factory can't be a dating spot.
It's good though, isn't it?
Cause that gumbo that I had,
See,
boy,
they be playing. Don't listen to them. Hating on Cheesecake
man,
Factory. Why would you do that? But look at
come
that,
on
full
now.
circle, right?
Yeah.
Full circle, and
Mhm.
and all in house. God blessing the entire movement of everything, from Cheesecake Factory to being baptized. I mean, I don't know how you title this story, but
Right.
that is amazing. That is amazing. And you said, "Oh, I don't really have a story to tell." How dare you?
I,
I mean,
I
yeah,
did say that. I did say that.
man.
My
How dare
bad. I'm
you?
sorry.
Oh
We
man.
found out more about you on this
Yeah.
than in the media.
But yeah, your story, man, your story is so like relatable
Yeah.
and like yeah, like Yusuf said, I mean, you've been holding out on us, man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, we always hear great testimonies about how somebody got saved, either their lives got saved literally or they got saved from an addiction. And I'm just like, do I just really want to tell a bunch of people that I was just tired of going to church? Is that really
But that's more
exciting?
truthful than not, because I was never
Yeah, it is.
suicidal. Wes, were you ever suicidal?
No,
Did you ever have a drug problem? I didn't have a drug problem.
no.
I didn't
Not
either.
every testimony is going to be the super tragic and got saved at the 11th hour kind of thing. You
Right.
know what I
Mhm.
mean? At the end of the day, one thing I recognize about your story is what is repeated by a lot of people. You felt a void. Something was missing. You pretty much have
Yeah.
everything going on. You didn't have an issue with getting food. You had shelter and you were working. So all your necessities were met. Yet still you felt a void
Mhm.
somewhere somehow.
Mm,
And he's always the answer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
mm,
I've heard of people filling the void with something else. And even if they enjoy that something else for like the next 10 years, it always comes back to the void. I don't think I've
Mhm.
yeah.
ever heard anyone have the void filled by Christ and talk about they fill the void and go through this worrisome for the next 40 years or nothing like that. It's like
Right.
if they felt a void, they recognize it's because I've been far away from you, Lord.
Yeah.
And when they return back to the Lord Himself, that void is refilled again because He's always going to replenish us. He's always going to
Mhm.
quench our thirst. He's always going to fill
Mhm.
us with more than what we can get from this planet, this from society, from whatever vain things that we go after. So it's just awesome to hear your story. Just confirm a lot of things that we know of our Lord and Savior. And
Mhm.
I'm so glad you told the story today, Michael. I'm so glad.
Yeah, so glad, man.
I
So
hope
from
it was
now
worth
on, if you
it.
try and hold out, I'm gonna call you out in front of everybody.
I won't hold anything back anymore. I won't
Yeah,
hold
man.
Yeah,
anything else
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, don't ever play it small, bro. You got a great story, and I've been happy the whole time with smiles on my face because it's so nice to hear a light story that's the right story. We have no
Yeah,
tragedy on the
yeah.
news and stuff. I don't need
Yeah.
that right now, to be
Mhm.
honest with you.
Yeah, 'cause um when you like a lot of the stuff you mentioned, like I can relate to that, like just from the upbringing and you know to even like to even kind of now,
Hmm.
saying that you kind of are still like having God work in you. I mean, I could say the same thing for myself. And so,
Definitely.
you know, one thing that you said that I kind of see is that you said you talked about the pandemic, how when the pandemic came, like you just didn't go back to church, right?
Hmm.
And would you say that the pandemic for you was like a blessing in disguise or
Hmm.
what?
It might have been, but during it definitely felt like a curse
Right.
Okay.
because I was one of the few people who had a job that did not shut down for the pandemic.
Ah,
So
Mm.
my environmental life of go to work, go home was exactly the same.
nothing changed.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It was
Okay.
just that when I went out, there was less people around. So it was kind of weird.
Right.
Mm. Okay.
You know what's funny, Wes? I think, Michael, you're the first person I've heard of in all our groups that we're a part of that the pandemic was opposite for you. Like during the pandemic, is when a lot of people found TC Church.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
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 And for you, it's kind of like, oh man, I still gotta go work. Back to same old routine. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, but I'm glad to see you're still still in the same place. Like God hasn't wasted anything.
Yeah.
All opportunities that are meant for you by Him will be for you no matter what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So that is awesome, man. Michael, I really appreciate you taking the time today, man, to talk to us.
Yeah, for real.
I'd love to have you back on the show again to do one of our topic discussions
Mm-hmm.
because you've been holding back on us for far too long.
I'm down. I'm always down to do more.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love getting them on recording rate with that. I just play it back for them when I ask them for a show. Love it.
Like you said, you do it. Don't back out now.
Exactly. Do you have any last words, encouragement or wisdom that you may want to share with our audience?
Yeah. First of all, please just talk with God yourself. Please don't get looped into
Yeah.
the God will show you this video when you're ready type of stuff. It will drive you
For real
mad.
though.
I'm just telling you from experience. I don't care if it's on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat. I don't care. I promise you, God can say something different to you than He will to all those people. And it's not because what they're saying is wrong. It just might not be for you in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wisdom. That's true.
And the other thing I would say is please don't let your church let you give up on God. Because I have no problems with anybody at TC. Never have, never will. I still love all the people that I've met there and known there. I was just working like a dog, man. But please don't let that stop you from having a real relationship with Jesus because He wants it so bad.
Yeah.
He wants it so bad.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Man, you knew we had this show and never came on until now. How dare you?
Hey, I've been here the whole time.
I feel upset with you now.
What do you mean? I've been here since episode 1, just not on the mic.
There you go. All right, I'll take that. Thank you for tuning into Baptized and Clueless. We hope today's conversation has brought you encouragement on your spiritual journey. Join us next time. Until then, thanks again.